The language spoken is the same. HudBay, like my previous employer, has a very long history of discovering and developing mines, a very strong technical base, great balance sheet. So we had a lot to work with to build a much bigger going concern. So it's actually a very good story.
We've been through 3 CEOs in the year and a half that I've been there. So number one highlight is getting a permanent CEO, Dave Garofalo. He joined us in July. His hiring was very well received by the street. He's a young CEO, he's very energetic, and he puts a lot of value in the IR function. He truly sees the IR function as being strategic. So it's been a lot of fun working with him in the past 6 months.
It's important to be in front of the investment community on a regular basis. You have to be quite persistent with your investor relations program, quite consistent in your efforts. It's being in front of them when you have good news and bad news, regardless. Being transparent in what we're doing, setting out a clear message in terms of our strategy, giving them a report card, a checklist so that they can follow along in your progress, coming back and saying, this is what we said we were going to do, look, we've done it, reinforcing your message consistently. I think IR programs fall apart when there isn't that consistency of effort on the investor relations side, and I think that's an important part of our approach. We did a few lunch and learns this year on some of our projects where we thought the market didn't have a strong appreciation for the underlying value. We brought our technical team out. HudBay has a very deep technical team, and that was kind of camouflaged with all the noise that was happening corporately over the last few years. So I was bringing some of those other managers, senior managers, forward so the market could meet them and see that we did have a very deep team. It wasn't just a one-man band, I think there's a greater appreciation for HudBay capabilities in terms of exploration and mine construction now, because we've brought that team forward, made them more visible, and given the market a better feel for their abilities.
I think the highlight last year was in November. We relisted on the New York Stock Exchange. HudBay returned to the big board. We were there from 1937 to 1983. We came back in October of last year and did the bell ringing in early November. We're now listed down there in the U.S. We've also introduced a dividend, so we've got some large new U.S. shareholders that have come on board thanks to that. We've also ramped up our activity in terms of more mine tours, more asset tours. So those two things were really the highlights in the last 12 months.
Well, we've really repositioned the company and put it on a very firm growth track. We brought our Laurel project forward into construction. We announced recently an acquisition of a large-scale project in Peru, Constancia. So there's going to be significant news flow on 2 large-scale development projects. So we have quite a very busy news flow cycle planned for the year. We're going to have a lot more lunch and learn type sessions with analysts, with the buy side as well. They get them familiar with the new asset base, with the new growth projections. And really this is a year about execution now, so we have to be in front of the investors more than ever to show them that we are making visible progress to achieving our growth objectives.